Welcome back to Parenting Shrink Wrap. Melissa and Sam here with a special guest today, Kendall Concini. Um, Kendall comes to us as a mom and an author, and is here to share her own personal story today, which I think is one of the most courageous things any individual can do. And I really appreciate her taking the time to meet with us today and to share her story. She's the author of a book that she will introduce much more than I can, but she shares her own personal experience dealing with depression and how that has impacted her as a parent. So thank you so much for joining us, Kendall.
Thanks for having me. Safe space. I'm ready.
Yeah. All right. We're looking forward to talking about this. Okay. So the book, Cloudy Day Chronicles, right? So that tell us a little bit about the book and what was the story behind writing it. And we should say that it's a children's book. It's a beautifully illustrated children's book for I don't know, like 4 to 9-year-olds.
Yeah, it started I never expected, to have, I guess, those taglines, mom and author. Like, that was not in my life goal at all. My husband married me, and I said, I have mental health struggles. I didn't see myself as a parent because how do you navigate that? Haven't really figured it out myself. But we really got into volunteering. We did Special Olympics, and we had fostering, and we had such a great team around us that it kind of gave us this confidence and, hey, I'm doing it. And I decided, let's take a shot at this. Knowing I had depression, we kind of prepared ourselves. So we got therapy, we kind of went through all of it, we got some stuff in place, and we jumped into it. And of course, everything went as horrible as I expected it. It was unfortunate, but I knew it too. I was like, the universe is gonna really remind me that I struggle with all this. We went through a miscarriage. We went through our daughter having a lot of health issues in the beginning, and depression was it was like rampant. And when it finally started getting somewhat okay, my daughter was coming into she was fine. She's getting language. We knew if we wanted more than one. I was like, I have to go right away, because if life ever gets easy, I'm not going to be able to put myself back into that. So when I got pregnant the second time, I was like, our daughter's going to pick up on all of the emotions coming out on
Yep.
prenatal. So we started this bedtime story to explain to her that mom's not crying or stressed or anything because of you. It's something else. And it started with a cloud analogy. It was, it's sunny and it's shady where I am. And we ended up getting a cloud pillow. I made it into a story about the beach because she loves the beach and mom is not a water person. So it was easy for her to understand happiness and it really resonated with her to know if I was having a hard time, I just pull it out and she go, okay, cloud, it's not me. And with that, she also learned how to not be responsible for me. Like, dad was going to tag in to give me space. And then also just know that maybe we needed to play and be together a different way. And as I was going through it, I had my son, and I had, unfortunately, health issues. So I was just really down all the time. And my husband was like, to distract yourself, he's like, well, maybe write it down, make the story a thing, share your story with people. Because I felt so alone. I'd be on Reddit on these deep dives, does anyone experience this? And it was like, no, I couldn't find it. And so it was, okay, if I can't find it, let me go put it out there, to kind of try and see it more beautifully than I was going through it.
Which is, as Melissa said, courageous, but also kind of miraculous. And I don't know if you've I can't be the first one to give you that feedback, but as a clinician, as a therapist who works with people who are dealing with depression, teens and adults, and also as someone who has experienced postpartum depression with my first child, like when you're depressed, you feel alone in a crowd. You feel like your current reality is your permanent reality. Like you can't trust that it will subside, and your thinking gets very distorted and rigid about how bad things are and will always be. And so that you were like, maybe I'm just going to try and find some beauty in this, and I'm going to have the courage and oomph to write. Kendall, that's like, I mean, it's just amazing on a number of fronts. And I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah, I can't tell myself that on an average day. I haven't patted myself on the back yet, but it's also like, for me, it was interesting because for me, depression looks so different. And if you truly know me, a lot of people were shocked to hear I had it, because there's those common phrases moms hear, like, how does she do it, and things like that. And you're like, because we have to. Like, what happens if you don't? Then we don't move on. But my depression is like high functioning depression. I am out there, I'm extroverted, I'm doing stuff, I'm distracting myself, and it is a lot of internal. So I do that because I can't sit with myself, or I'm pushing through something. So the cloud was perfect because it was like, yes, I'm out there, yes, I'm doing the things, but there is something over me. I'm ruminating, I'm regretting, I am showing up different. You can't recognize it because there are signs underneath that I'm struggling. And like now my husband can pick up with them. I do joke, I was like, you're lucky. One like thing is when I get super depressed, instead of sitting in bed, I like stress clean. And I was like, so like he'll come home and the house will be like spotless, and he'll be like, oh no. And I'm like, yes, like, and it's hard to recognize. And I think that was a big part of it, is telling people like, yeah, nobody's checking on me because you think it's fine because I'm out here doing stuff, but you don't know that I'm not fine. And how do I finally tell people that? Because I do want to show up the way they're showing up.
And I think a lot of mental health struggles, you hear the term all the time, like they're like hidden health issues, and they really are. You're not, people can kind of still function sometimes or look like they're okay and really not be okay on the inside.
Which is, in the book, which is very cute, and the illustrations are just like so compelling. You partnered with like a illustrator who obviously got your vision. Like mom in the book, who is you, like has like wakes up and suddenly they're on their way to the beach, and they get to the beach, and then mom's like, okay, we're here, yay, ready for an adventure. And then a cloud descends on mom but nobody else. And the family spends time, which was cool, the family spends time acknowledging but not trying to fix, making space for, reassuring each other, but not trying to fix. And like there was this wonderful togetherness in the book. I mean, it chronicles a single day, a 1 day trip to the beach, for a family with two young kids, and like there's this unity that comes through in it, and a hope, I think, about like what's possible for a family and for young kids when a parent is going through, or carries such a significant burden.
Yes, I love my illustrator. I was like, when we were talking through it, when we were first working together, she had kind of called me and she was like, I'm going to do this all in shading. And she talked about the movie Up, and she's like, when it goes from bright to dark. And I was like, yes. And it just clicked that was how we were going to show it. And we, on paper, the cloud, a lot of them actually have like numbers. It's like cloud shade 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're like, and she would call me and she'd be like, this scene, is it, what do you see? And I was like, that's cloud 3. And this scene, what do you see? That's cloud 2. And even the sun shining through moments where it is hard. There's a very delicate line between, my kids they know they don't have to fix me, but they also do want me to participate in the way that I can. And so the book was no, the kids will never ask me to go in the water because they know I don't like it. But they will say, okay, if you need to lay down, then we'll make you a mermaid tail where you are. So we will be around you where you are instead of you having to match us. And that's just a lot. Like a lot of it is what I am lucky enough to experience at home. A lot of the reassuring lines from dad is what my husband says to me. And we also, my daughter, she's signing books now because she helped me write some lines. Like I would ask her, I was like, if mom did this, what would you say? And she, like the power of caring line, like that's her. She's like, well, we care for you. And so it was really great to kind of portray that as a I experience. So book one is very much my experience. I do go out. They do know to let me do what I need to do. We call it Chronicles because we are writing 3, and the second book is going to be like a little bit of different depression. So what happens when you go and you just can't interact? So mom's not going to move around. And then book 3, we're not even going to leave the house because we just can't even. And so it's going to try and show that different representation of it in a way that they can understand it, because we don't think kids can talk mental health, and they don't need to. My daughter doesn't say depression, but she will say cloud means we slow down.
And what we know about how to help kids through things that are too big for them to have language for is they need translations. You know, kids can carry all sorts of complicated, unfortunate, you know, circumstances in their life. If they have adults helping them translate it into kid experience, and the like, you didn't cause this, and you don't have to fix it, and it's, you know, these feelings aren't yours to take on. That's the kind of translation we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's a great message. And I think in the books are a great way to relay that, because the pictures that go along with the text, you know, a lot of times kids might be more interpreting the visual than the words that are being read to them in a book.
That's one of the most powerful moments. So when I saw the illustrations come together, and I hadn't said it, I remember thinking it and like angry texting, like, oh, you took my like line, because my illustrator drew on one picture the cloud as an anchor and mom can't go. And I was like, that is how it feels. You nailed it. And she had done all the research to understand it. And so it was really powerful too to see like her interpretation of what we had been talking about, and even just to have her get it. And I'm like, you don't have depression, you don't have anything, and you were able to understand through the story what it would look like in interpretation, and where the cloud kind of changes as the character. It's easy to then explain to my daughter, like, yes, I do want to still do this, but the cloud's here too, and how do we blend that in and learn through that. And it's resonated with my daughter, and I've shared this story. It's my favorite, so I share it every time. But my daughter now has her own. It's a tornado, and I love it. I love it sometimes. But she is 4, so she knows, like, we don't hit, we don't throw stuff, and we use indoor voices. She knows that. That's what we're learning. But she has recognized that sometimes her emotions get really heated. So she asked, she said, Mom, can I have a tornado? And I was like, what? And she goes, I know I'm not supposed to yell and throw things, but I don't like this. And she goes, can I go in my room and have a tornado? And I was like, yes. And
I love that.
She was able, and I had to tell my husband, I was like, when you get home, we're doing a thing. I was like, there's a thing, it's happening. We love it. My son is less, he's just a rock. He just like inconveniently plops down next to me and doesn't move. And I'm like, okay. But it's just, that was like my, okay, success. We sort of unlocked it for ourselves.
Yeah, but that's great emotional intelligence for a 4-year-old to have that kind of insight, and that like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I have these feelings and I need to get them out. And she has found that outlet and used a similar analogy. That's amazing. That's a huge parenting win.
Now, sometimes she does. The one day I knew she got in trouble for something, and she did try to get out of it with the cloud. She's like, I just have a cloud. And I was like, no, you don't. Get out of here. I was like, I know. You're learning.
She's still a 4-year-old.
Yeah. So it's a balance.
The importance, and this is not just in households where a parent is dealing with chronic mental health concerns, but in every household, a gift that we can give our children is emotional language. I can't tell you how many times I see an adult who comes to therapy a little dissociated from their own existence because as a child they never learned how to discern what these like inklings in their body called feelings were. They didn't have language for it or a metaphor for it. And so to be able to in your household talk about, are you having a tornado, is it a cloud, is it a sunny day, like that's a great metaphor. And you don't need words like joyful, or not yet anyway, like but that's what we're shooting for, is to have feelings words be normal in households, be typical in households, and to have the full range of feelings be acceptable in households. That is a huge gift.
I know. I was talking about this last night with my husband because somebody asked me, like, how do I feel now that the book, we just got all like 1,000 copies to my house yesterday, so there's boxes everywhere.
Oh my.
And someone was like, how do you feel now that it exists? And I was like, it feels weird in a part because yes, I'm excited about the book and I'm excited about talking about the book and sharing it, but in a way doing things like this, connecting with you guys and therapy groups and stuff, it's like the book was my gateway to have a conversation about what perfect parenting looks like. And that was a huge part of my journey. Was I started with thinking that because I had mental health, I couldn't be a parent, because that's just not what you do. It's not the perfect mom to not love every single experience and not glow. And there was so much guilt, which we all have that mom guilt. That's like, if I don't love playing horsey every minute of the day, I'm not cherishing the moments. And so a lot of that weighed on me constantly in the beginning. And when it got to this point where it was just like, listen, I don't have emotional regulation the way I should. Therapy is working. I didn't get my gold star yet. And it is, I need permission to still be a great parent, even though I don't have patience and I have like, you need to walk away moments. And we don't really tell ourselves that we don't have to be on 24/7. And so when I started doing the book and I can put this language behind, hey, sorry, you got home from school and mom has a cloud, so like I can't play horsey, you need to go play over there, mom had a really hard day at work and it brought a cloud, and it's not that I don't love you and I don't want to play with you, it's just I can't right now. And she gets that in a way that I'm like, oh, thank God, because I can't play horse right now. And for us, it was like, that's my joy of all of this, is the ability to just say, hey, no, I'm not the perfect parent, but I have language behind explaining to her why that's not her fault in the moment, why it doesn't make me less love for her and loving to her and all that. But it's just this like permission to go, like, we're still the best parents because we were able to tell her what we also needed. And then she can turn around and do that and see it and not be like, oh, mom was always like yelling or not playing and stuff. It's like, okay, no, mom struggled with some stuff sometimes. And then when the cloud passed, we played crafts all night instead of horse.
And the honesty about that, right? Like, again, I think that the best form, like sometimes what you said, we think we have to have this certain packaging in order to do this parenting thing well.
I don't know what that packaging truly
let me
is.
know if you find it. But like the packaging that I think is like, it's called honesty, it's called authenticity, and it involves communicating what's really going on in an age appropriate way. I think sometimes we think kids are too young to internalize or sense tension or something's off or something in their household, but they're not. Like our nerd, they size up a situation quite quickly, even if they don't have words to describe it. So
and a lot of times that produces anxiety if they don't understand where it's coming from.
Right. So what you're doing is such a gift to your kiddo.
And that's what's hard. Everyone was like, what age is the book for? Because you have to put it, like libraries, Amazon, etc. Like you have to put ages. And I was like, when you're ready. Because I started this with my daughter when she was 2. And she, if you talk to her, you won't know she's 4. She's just in the world of language because we are open with her, because we have bigger conversations with her. And I was like, yes, sometimes it's very annoying when she's like 4 going on 14 and you're just like trying to reason why bedtime is bedtime. But it's also like, I'm very proud that despite everything going on, she's able to have that skill this young, because it didn't mean that anything I was doing on the mental health side held anything back. I'm like, anytime I can doubt myself, I'm like, okay, look at her talking about emotions at 3. And people are
Yes.
like, she's 3. And I'm like, yes, she is. And she knows it because we were open with her. And it was, I never wanted it to be like she turned 16 and it's age appropriate and all of a sudden it's like, surprise, happy birthday. The reason mom hid in her room all the time crying was because I didn't want you to see depression. I'm like, I didn't want to not be a part of stuff. I just wanted to say, like, mom's here, I want to sit here and watch you. I have more fun watching you right now, and have that conversation with her. And I'm like, so really it's just, I think it's more of like the age is for the adult. Like, well, when are you ready to kind of be open about everything?
And what we know about human life is the more open we can be about our own existence, the less shame we carry. Now that's an easy thing to say and hard to do, you know, and
Yeah.
all of us, I think, have had things happen in our life and have had, you know, whatever, like, scars might be too strong a word, but maybe not, that are shame buttons, you know, when they get hit for us. And so when we decide, like, I'm not listening to that, right? I'm going to just put myself out there as I am. Boy, there's freedom in that. And also it's scary as shit. Right. So, and we began this little segment right here when you were saying, you know, one of the things you look forward to is your ability to advocate and connect and create and think about programming for. And so can you talk a little bit about what your hopes are on that front from because in the book, I know at the end, there's a page that says, like, if the contents here are relevant for you, here are some places to go. Here are some, you know, resources to consult, you know, next steps. So talk a little bit about that.
I it's monumental for me. My I guess generation upbringing was, we just didn't do therapy. We didn't do help. We didn't do it. You kind of be happy. You have so much to be happy about. And I was like, but there's still so much out there on such varying levels. And so a big part of it is I had what helped me get through my stuff. But I was like, but if anyone comes to me and says, hey, I resonate, like, where did you go for help? I'm like, I'm very specific. Like, mine are very specific things. My clouds, eventually, yes, I'll get deeper and I can tell my daughter what was the actual reason of the cloud, and I go to therapy for those. But it didn't feel helpful to just say, yes, I'm in Maryland, here's one therapist for this. And so my goal was like Macy's Santa. I was like, I need to find all of it. So if someone comes and they're like, I have a cloud because breastfeeding, I'm working with like a breastfeeding center. I have a cloud because my kid's always in the pediatrician's office, and like, let me find like-minded pediatricians. And I grew up, if you remember, like the quarters on the map where you had to collect each one.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my goal. My goal is like, I want a doula, I want a pediatrician, I want a breastfeeding, like I want all of it in every single state. And I want to learn how to actually build a website that doesn't drive me crazy, but to kind of drop it down and say, like, what topic do you need? And just like, send me an email and I'll be like, here's who I've met. And I've had the opportunity to do that. I've like met some people internationally too, doing some podcasts to say, okay, here's where you can go for them. And so just being able to refer people out and be like, it's okay to say you're not okay in this moment, and that there is help out there. And when a cloud comes, we do feel really alone, but trying to kind of break that. And also talking to people about like preparing for it and admitting it. So a big thing is what I'm trying to do is like just be honest about, like, if a cloud comes, and my husband's learned not to ask me what can I do for you, because in that moment I would have no way of answering. So we've sort of, that was my whole approach to parenting, was how do we get prepared knowing it's going to be hard, and like set it up and admit that it might be hard coming down the line. So getting yourself ready, having that support with you, and that's what I'm really trying to kind of build in all of this.
So your
that,
mission, go ahead, Melissa.
I was going to say, I think that rings true even if a parent isn't struggling, like putting supports in place and knowing that things are going to go sideways at some point in your parenting journey, because I don't know anyone who's raised a kid where it hasn't gone sideways definitely more than once, but and like prepping for that, I think is one of the most important things you can do. And I think it anybody, nobody has perfect days 100% of the time, even if you're not struggling with, clinical level depression. Like, it is okay to not be okay some days. And I think it's also important that your kids see that, so they don't expect that they have to be 100% on all the time either. You're modeling appropriate emotional responses, that people don't live in like rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine all the time.
And it sounds like you are trying to normalize this and create really a nationwide, if not global, network of practitioners and supports for people in your shoes, so they don't have to go on Reddit and find like, how am I going to become a mom with this, right? Like there's like an actual vetted source hub.
And not to have people feel that way, that you can't be a parent because of something this.
Yeah. And not even like, it kind of goes beyond even parenting too, because I'm like, my daughter's ability to just check on her friends too and recognize like, hey, maybe your friend doesn't want to play that right now, and kind of shift that. We've been doing a lot of like acts of kindness through this too. A big platform of the book is like buying through my website. We donate proceeds back to the community, and we've been doing a lot of initiatives and support with groups like Drop Dead Generous to do acts of kindness, and Merriment Maker. And so it's just been this rewarding, like, okay, we say that people need help because emotions are valid and feelings are valid, and let's go out there and find how to support that in the community and beyond that. And so that's been kind of success. Yay.
Kendall, yeah, you're going for it. I'm going to do the same thing. Go ahead.
If people want to find you, find your website, purchase a copy of the books that sound like they just came in, where can they find you?
So I made it easy on myself. So Cloudy Day Chronicles is like the tag for everything. So cloudydaychronicles.org is the website. At Instagram, that's the same name. At Substack, it's the same name. And they all kind of link together because I got that to work. So it kind of flows all together with Cloudy Day Chronicles.
Awesome. And you said that there's some philanthropy. So if folks purchase Cloudy Day Chronicles through cloudydaychronicles.org, that's the way to help you support the community and give back through all of these, acts of kindness type.
Yeah, I love it. One, too, they can use the code podcast love if they've heard from here. And on the website, that we put little surprises for mental health in each package. And we have all proceeds each month. We feature a different organization on the Substack. So just flat proceeds per month kind of go to a group. But we also have a special pay it forward program that is essentially buy one, give one. And we are giving to places like therapy centers and low income schools, counselors, and just different groups that are resonating with the message and being able to kind of bring it there. We do activities. I got to do arts and crafts with kids to color their cloud and talk about it, and just kind of be out there and give back to a lot of great places that I'm getting to meet.
That's amazing.
This is such important work and such vulnerable, powerful work. Thank you for honoring us with your story, with Cloudy Day Chronicles, letting us take a peek at the book before, before the general public had it. That's a treat. And for anyone who reads the book or looks at the book, it's both a delight to read and to see. I think that the message will resonate and it will be memorable. Thank you for joining us, Kendall, and to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Parenting Shrink Wrapped. We love you. We love your kids. Keep raising the next generation of world changers. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride called parenthood here at Parenting Shrink Wrapped. We hope today's episode gave you some useful tools and maybe even a few laughs to help you navigate the twists and turns of raising teens and kids.
Remember, parenting is a journey, not a destination. And no matter where you are on the road, we're here to help you stay on course. Whether it's monumental meltdowns, teenage turmoil, or just the everyday chaos, you don't have to travel this path alone.
So until next time, keep your seatbelt fastened, your sense of humor intact, and your eyes on the road. We'll be back soon with more compassionate conversations and practical strategies to support you and your family.
Don't forget to subscribe to Parenting Shrink Wrapped wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you've enjoyed today's show, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review and share it with a friend.
If you have suggestions for topics you'd like to see us cover in the future, feel free to send us an email at parentingshrinkwrapped@gmail.com.
Until we meet again, take care and enjoy the ride.